Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I really wanted to give you some advice on how you should look for, what you should look for with an online paper editor. So I'm just going to go through go through the different pros and cons of an online paper editors or using online paper editing services relative to maybe your local service or something like that. So if you haven't figured it out, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. I'm creating this reciprocity thing. You could check it out. But the reason why I'm wearing a hat in this video is because it's Saturday and my kids are just starting to go into baseball and we're trying out for baseball, so it's lots of fun. So anyways, why am I actually giving out this video for figuring out the online paper editing or online paper editing services and stuff? Why am I actually trying to put this out? I just want to make sure I'm giving you great advice and stuff that I went through. It's the reason actually why I created reciprocity. But I want to, if you're choosing other things, and there's so many different ways to sort of look at this. I want to make sure that you are well aware of all the different services and things that you can do. And I just want to be helpful, right? So help you try to find paper editing services. For maybe you are a student, for example. Maybe you are a writer. Maybe you are, I don't know, whatever you are. Anyways, maybe there's lots of different things that you can use this for. But so what I'm going to go into is go through the cons first and then go into the pros of using an online paper editing service. So the first one for the cons is sometimes it's really expensive to find a good online paper editor, and you just don't know what the quality is. So you sometimes have to pay them up front, and that's kind of nerve-wracking and stuff because you don't know who this person is. There's lots of sort of what's called transaction costs, and you just don't know what's going on with you're just kind of uncertain with the quality and stuff like that. So ways that you can mitigate this is you can make sure that you are well aware of the person, that you use some sort of system and stuff that is reputable, because there's lots of sort of gray market stuff that's out there. And definitely makes you nervous, and just make sure it's a really reputable service and stuff like that, that you can find, and that you're going to get a pretty good cost. You're going to spend some amount for it, and then as well, just maybe make a list of 3 or 4 different online paper editing services or editors, and then figure out the cost and gets bids from those different ones, right? You can figure out which one is appropriate for you. Second one is the sort of uncertainty of the quality of the online or essay or paper editing service, whatever you're using is, and again, you're just kind of uncertain about what the quality is going to be for a number of different factors. You're sort of remote from them. You're just going through a website, so it might be you don't know who these people are, and that is totally fine. You should just go through and make sure that there's maybe some quality control sort of things that are in place and stuff like that, just to make sure that it is fine, and you can find the appropriate person. So if you're paying a lot for the particular online paper editor and whatnot, make sure that you go and you just vet them in many ways as you possibly can. Maybe look for certifications. So this is what I would teach. I'm a business professor. This is what I would teach. Make sure you look for certifications. Make sure that there's maybe courses taken and stuff if you're going through that route. Obviously, I want to sort of create some sort of system with reciprocity to sort of maybe build that in somehow, build it into the system. But it's not perfect, and it's still sort of a work in progress. Anyways, so the third thing that you should maybe look into, or third con, is you're not supporting local business. There's maybe some local essay editor or somebody in town that you can pay to get them to edit your essay. And when you use these online paper editor services, you're usually getting somebody that's geographically dispersed, somebody from another location, right? That's working on that particular paper. And if you're cool with that, that's fine. Otherwise, if you want local people, make sure you try to vet them somehow. I just had a really hard time when I was trying to go through and find people and stuff. I used to get my mom. But, my mom doesn't want to do that now. So anyways, there is, just make sure you vet and you get personal contacts and stuff like that to find particular relevant people that are good. And I've used different editors and stuff that way. And depending on what I'm using and requiring it, I might actually go through a personal contact and stuff that I know somebody is exceptional. For example, somebody that works at a major publication or whatnot, that is an editor at a major publication, I might get them to take a look at what I'm doing and stuff, and that's totally fine, right? Fourth thing is copyright and intellectual property right infringements. Again, just make sure. So this might be a concern if you're worried about somebody sort of stealing your ideas or anything like that. The issue is that's highly, highly unlikely if you think about the incentives behind it. So if anybody steals the idea, the online paper editor steals the idea, that they're going to be kicked off any system, right? Doesn't matter what it is. So for myself, with reciprocity, if I ever catch that, it's gone. They're gone. They're never going to be. They're going to be sort of banned from the system, and that's going to be like that in any sort of online paper editing service. There for sure, that's got to be built into it. There's got to be all sorts of systems and cross checks and stuff like that you have to make sure that somebody is not doing anything that's dicey, right? That there are some dicey people out there, and you have to watch out for them. What else is there? There is with copyright or sort of plagiarism and stuff like that. You just have to, maybe you have them sign a contract beforehand. Contracts are not really all that effective, though. Again, part of the reason why I created reciprocity with quality rating services and stuff like that. Contracts just don't. They're okay, but they are, particularly with sort of these low cost things and stuff that you're using. Often it's just not worth the hassle to go and get a contract and stuff like that. So. But yeah, in general, they are effective. There's, on the website that I have, there's terms and conditions and things like that ensure that there's a contract. But in general, if you're going to dispute something, often it's not worth your time to go through that. And, I'm upfront with that. I've gone through these kind of issues before and stuff. And, litigators should say it's not really worth your time going through it. And it, wasn't on reciprocity, but it was with another scenario that I was going through. But anyways, so what are some pros with the online paper editors? Why you might want to choose one over sort of a local service or somebody else? Is because the cost is often really inexpensive, right? So it's built in to be really inexpensive. You can often find people that are willing to do something much more cheaper than you can in the local area. That's kind of a sort of a smaller issue. The sort of second and third issue, I think, is more important here. The pros, sort of the uncertainty over the quality with sort of local paper editing services. When you get somebody that's local, you often don't know what the quality is. Truly, you don't know what they are. And, I've gone through sort of similar things where I thought that person would be good, but they're really not that good. And then what do you do if you have somebody that's a friend or a family or something like that? I'm not saying my mom wasn't good. She was awesome. But, if you have a friend or family, and then what do? You're like, I'm kind of stuck. So you might want to go with somebody that is sort of an arm's length transaction that sometimes is really effective. And that there is some system, so that's why I built into reciprocity. If you look at how it works, is that there is sort of quality checks that are built into it to ensure that people are always good and they're always providing their best along the way, right? And a lot of sort of sharing economy apps are built that way, and that's really what this is. So like home renting and what else is there? There is car ride sharing and things like that. They have to build in these quality checks and stuff to ensure that people are doing good. Ride share, like things like Uber and all that kind of stuff. They have to build that in. It's a necessity to build those things in. And so you're actually getting better quality if you've ever driven an Uber versus going into a taxi cab, right? The third thing is just ease of use. And this was a big thing with me, is just finding a local person often is really tough. And I'm like, who do I go to, right? I didn't know who to go to often. And, sometimes I ask people and they're not available and blah, just all that stuff. And it's really nice to find somebody that's quick and easy and you could just, go online. Fourth thing is to find finding people that are suitable quality, high enough quality, that's really difficult to find people that are exceptional quality, particularly because, people that are high quality are probably not in your local area. I live in a pretty small city, and they're probably not in, there's good quality people here. There definitely is. There's amazing people in the city I live in. But then there are amazing people all over the place. And if you can identify those particular people, and that's kind of the principle behind the sharing economy, if you can find those people around the world, or around in the United States, for example, then you can identify them, then they can be awesome. They can really help you out in a lot of different ways. And those people are really hard to find. They're usually geographically dispersed. And that's why you might want to use an online paper editor of some sort, or online paper editing service of some sort, to actually identify those particular people. And the fifth thing, and this is kind of something I really want to build in, and I'm trying to build in to reciprocity, it's just, writing is really subjective in a lot of different ways, extremely subjective. And, I might choose an editor that is amazing and they're top notch. They work at a high quality publication and all that kind of stuff. But then there's lots of subjectivity around it, right? So even if they give me advice and they tell me to write this one way, I might not like that at all because it's not my words. It's not the way that I like things. So I might actually want to go and redo it again and get somebody else's opinion. And with these online paper editing services, you can get it done as long as it's fairly inexpensive. You can get it done over and over and over again and get different feedback of different parts. And that's a really cool thing with doing something like that, is you get different feedback and stuff. So for example, reciprocity gets randomly assigned to somebody, and that random assignment allows you to get different feedback from different people that are willing to help you out on the particular thing, which is really cool because you get all sorts of different feedback and different views. And that's often what you need versus one particular person, right, that's helping you out. So with that, I think I've tried to cover as many different things as I can with, the pros and cons with online paper editors, and trying to find, helping you try to find appropriate online paper editing services and all that kind of stuff. You can check out, there's lots online, and, I'm a big proponent of checking those out and making sure that you are going and checking out all that kind of stuff. Make sure that you sort of go off and check all these different things and make sure everything's good, and sort of weigh the pros and cons of using them and then choose the appropriate one. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.